You've been lied to. They told you that if you talk to enough women, stack up matches on dating apps, and play the numbers game, you'll finally feel in control. That you'll develop an abundance mindset just by having options. But every second you spend chasing, swiping, and seeking validation, you're proving you have none. Right now, you are a slave to the attention economy. Social media, dating apps, and mainstream advice keep you plugged in, distracted, and weak. They want you chasing, not building. Consuming, not leading. Reacting, not thinking. And the cost? Years of your life wasted. Energy drained. Habits formed that turn you into a spectator, watching other men win while you chase scraps. Let me ask you this. If you stopped chasing women completely for 6 months, no mindless texting, no meaningless dates, what would happen? Would you break? Would you feel empty? Would you realize you have no idea who you really are without external validation? Because if that thought makes you uncomfortable, you've built your self-worth on something you don't even control. And that should scare you. But here's where it gets worse. Welcome to Man-to-Man Code. The only place where men hear what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. No fluff, no feel-good lies. Just the truth that will make you stronger. If you're ready to stop being a pawn in the game and start moving like a king, subscribe now. Because weak men stay lost. Strong men take action. Now, let's break down why everything you've been told about the abundance mindset is wrong, and what you should be doing instead. The hard truth. Why talking to multiple women won't fix you. Let's get something straight. What most men call abundance is actually just disguised desperation. You think having options makes you high value? That talking to multiple women at once means you're a man in control? Wrong. What you're really doing is proving how much you need their attention. That's not abundance, that's dependence. The illusion of abundance. How chasing women is actually neediness in disguise. A man who constantly needs to entertain multiple women isn't proving his worth. He's running from his own insecurity. He's trying to convince himself that if enough women want him, then he must be valuable. But deep down, he knows the truth. Because real confidence, real abundance, it has nothing to do with how many women are in your phone. A man with true abundance doesn't chase. He attracts. He isn't out there wasting his energy juggling meaningless conversations just to feel like he has options. He's focused. He's on his mission. And women, they follow. But let's be honest. Most men don't operate like that. Most men are terrified of being alone. They're scared to sit in silence with themselves because it forces them to face the reality they've been avoiding. Without female validation, they feel empty. And that's a dangerous place to be. How most men confuse options with confidence. They tell themselves, if I have women lining up for me, I must be doing something right. But let's break that down. If your confidence only exists when women are around, is it really confidence? Or is it just an illusion? Think about the guy who flexes his dating life but panics the moment he's single. The guy who talks a big game but crumbles when a woman pulls away. The guy who needs constant female attention just to feel like a man. That's not power, that's weakness. A truly high-value man is the same with or without women. His confidence isn't dependent on external validation. It's built on something deeper, something real. But most men will never reach that level because they're addicted. The dopamine trap. Why constantly seeking female validation weakens you. Every time you text a new girl, match on an app, or get a compliment, your brain rewards you with a hit of dopamine. It feels good. It feels like progress. But it's fake progress. Because while you're out there chasing quick dopamine hits from random women, your real life is standing still. Your goals? On hold. Your discipline? Non-existent. Your purpose? Forgotten. You've been tricked into thinking you're winning, because you have women in rotation. But deep down, you know the truth. You're just keeping yourself distracted. And here's the part no one wants to admit. You're doing this because it's easier. It's easier to chase women than to build yourself into the kind of man who doesn't need to chase. It's easier to feel a temporary high from female attention than to do the hard work of becoming independent from it. And that's why so many men stay stuck. The harsh reality. Talking to 20 women doesn't make you high value. It makes you distracted. A man focused on his mission has no time to waste on meaningless interactions. He isn't concerned with playing games or proving his abundance through a high body count. Because he understands that abundance isn't about numbers, it's about mindset. When you see a man constantly chasing women, you're not looking at someone in control. You're looking at someone who lacks it. Meanwhile, the man who doesn't need to chase is the one women actually pursue. So, be honest with yourself. Right now, are you living in true abundance? Or are you just distracting yourself from your own emptiness? If you suddenly cut off every woman in your life today, would you still feel like the same man? Because if the answer is no, then you don't have an abundance mindset. You have a dependence mindset. And until you fix that, you'll always be a slave to female validation. So now the real question is, how do you develop true abundance? If it's not about chasing women, then what's the real solution? That's what we're about to break down next. And once you understand this, everything changes. The psychology of true abundance. Why detachment is the real key. So, if chasing women isn't the answer, then what is? The real answer is detachment. See, you've been conditioned to believe that the more you have, the more powerful you are. More women, more validation, more attention. But real power isn't about how much you have, it's about how little you need. The moment you can walk away from anything, without fear, without hesitation, that's when you become truly abundant. But right now, most men are living in the opposite state. They're desperate to hold on to female attention. They're terrified of losing what little validation they get. And that's exactly why they never reach real confidence. Understanding detachment. Why real confidence comes from not needing anything. A weak man needs constant reassurance. He needs women to text him back. He needs attention to feel like he's worth something. A strong man, he doesn't need any of it. He can go days, weeks, months without external validation, and it doesn't shake him. He knows his value isn't dependent on who's in his life. It's built on what he creates, what he accomplishes, and the standards he holds for himself. Think about this. If you lost everything tomorrow, your money, your status, your relationships, who would you be? Would you still feel like the same man? Or would you crumble? Because if your identity is built on anything outside of you, then you don't actually own it. And that means it can be taken away in an instant. That's why detachment is the ultimate superpower. When you stop needing, you start winning. The scarcity versus abundance paradox. Why needing validation creates scarcity? Most men think abundance means having more. More women, more attention, more everything. But that's not how it works. Abundance isn't about having more, it's about being free from needing more. When you chase, you signal scarcity. You tell the world that you lack something, that you're incomplete without it. And that energy, women feel it. This is why some men struggle to attract women no matter how hard they try, while others can sit back and watch women come to them effortlessly. It's not about looks, money, or even status. It's about energy. Women are wired to sense neediness. They can smell desperation a mile away. And the second they sense you're dependent on their attention, they lose interest. On the flip side, when you truly don't care, when you're detached from the outcome, when you're focused on your purpose, you become magnetic. Because suddenly, you're not another guy trying to impress her. You're a man who doesn't need to impress anyone. And that is rare. How powerful men operate. The difference between neediness and choice. Weak men operate from need. Strong men operate from choice. A weak man stays in a relationship because he's afraid of being alone. A strong man stays because he chooses to, not because he has to. A weak man keeps talking to women out of fear that if he stops, he'll have nothing. A strong man only entertains what adds value to his life. Look at the most powerful men in the world. CEOs, elite athletes, top performers. These men aren't spending their time chasing meaningless distractions. They don't need constant validation to feel good about themselves. Because their confidence doesn't come from women, it comes from who they are. And that's exactly why women chase them. Example: how top performers build an abundance mindset without chasing distractions. Let's take an example. Think about a top-tier athlete, someone like Kobe Bryant. Do you think he was out there swiping on dating apps, chasing women, or worrying about who was texting him back? No. Because he was too busy becoming great. His focus was on his craft, his discipline, his mission. And guess what? Women weren't running away because he wasn't giving them attention. They were drawn to him because he didn't need them. That's the mindset shift. You don't create abundance by collecting women. You create it by becoming a man who doesn't rely on them. So, here's the real question. How do you develop this level of detachment? How do you shift from chasing to attracting? Because once you make that switch, everything in your life will change. That's exactly what we're breaking down next. And trust me, once you understand this, you'll never look at women, or yourself, the same way again. How to develop an abundance mindset while focusing on one woman. So now you understand, abundance isn't about how many women you have. It's about how little you need them. But here's the problem. Most men can't handle this truth. They either go to one extreme, chasing endlessly, or to the other, completely avoiding women out of fear of attachment. Neither of these is real abundance. The real flex is being able to focus on your mission while still maintaining control in a relationship. That's the balance most men will never achieve. They either give up their power completely, or they run from relationships because they don't trust themselves to stay grounded. Both are signs of weakness. If you want to be a man who can stay centered while dealing with one woman, or 100, you need to build true internal stability. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Build internal stability first. Confidence isn't external. It's built from competence and discipline. Most guys think confidence comes from external factors. Money, status, how many women they've been with. But that's backwards thinking. Confidence isn't given to you. It's built by what you do when no one is watching. Comes from discipline. From stacking wins. From setting goals and smashing them. Weak men rely on external validation because they haven't built anything internal to stand on. So when a woman gives them attention, it's like a drug. They feel powerful. But the second she pulls away, they collapse. That's not confidence. That's dependence. True abundance starts with making yourself unshakable. Think about the men who women respect the most. Athletes, CEOs, self-made entrepreneurs. These men don't have time to obsess over female attention. Why? Because their minds are locked in on something bigger. That's the key. Mission over women. The moment your purpose takes priority, everything changes. Your energy shifts. You stop acting out of fear of loss, and you start leading. And the best part? Women can feel this. The second you become a man who doesn't need them, their attraction for you skyrockets. But the moment you make her the center of your world, you lose. So here's the hard truth. You don't need to cut women off to build confidence. You just need to make sure they never come before your mission. Because when your purpose comes first, everything else falls into place. Step 2. Master emotional control. Most men destroy their own relationships, not because they're bad partners, but because they're weak internally. They get a woman, they get comfortable, and suddenly, they start over-investing. They start acting out of fear, afraid to lose what they have. And that's when the dynamic shifts. What started as attraction turns into attachment. And when attachment isn't backed by strength, it leads to insecurity. Here's how it plays out. You start overthinking. You become reactive to her moods. You let her dictate the energy of the relationship. And before you know it, you're walking on eggshells, afraid of losing her. That's why emotional detachment is key. A woman should never feel like she's your emotional anchor. She should never feel like her actions determine your mood, your confidence, or your self-worth. Because the moment she senses that, she loses respect for you. Think about the most attractive, powerful men. They're not emotionally fragile. They don't overreact. They don't need constant reassurance. They're steady, unshakable. They lead the relationship instead of reacting to it. And that's exactly what makes them so magnetic. So here's the rule. Never invest more into a woman than she invests into you. If she pulls away, let her. If she disrespects you, walk. If she tests you, pass, by standing firm, not by reacting emotionally. Because the moment a woman feels like she controls your emotional state, she loses all attraction for you. And that's how most men lose. Not because they were bad partners, but because they became weak over time. If you want to keep your power, you have to master emotional control. Step 3. Shift your perspective on women. Women don't create your value, they respond to it. A lot of men get this backwards. They think if they get a high-quality woman, that means they've made it. They think having a beautiful, loyal woman is the proof that they're high value. But here's the reality. Women are a reflection of you. If you're strong, focused, and on your mission, she'll naturally respect you. She'll admire you. She'll be drawn to your presence because she sees that you don't need her, but you choose to be with her. But if you're weak, needy, or emotionally dependent, she'll slowly start to pull away. Not because she's a bad person, because she's wired to do it. Women are biologically programmed to test men's strength. Not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. If you fail those tests, she can't respect you. And once respect is gone, attraction follows. That's why the biggest mistake men make is thinking they can keep a woman by doing more for her. You don't keep a woman by over-investing. You keep her by being a man she never wants to lose. Because the truth is, women don't leave men they admire. And admiration isn't about looks, money, or words. It's about energy, presence, the way you carry yourself. So if you want to maintain abundance while focusing on one woman, make sure you never stop being the man she was originally drawn to. Stay disciplined. Stay focused. Stay detached. Keep building your empire. Because when you do that, you'll never have to worry about a woman leaving. She'll be too busy making sure she doesn't lose you. Are you leading, or are you following? Right now, look at your life. Look at how you interact with women. Are you leading, or are you reacting? Are you building, or are you chasing? Are you a man of purpose, or a man easily swayed by emotions? Because the answer to those questions determines whether you truly have an abundance mindset, or if you're just faking it. And if you're not where you want to be, the good news is, you can fix it. But only if you're willing to do the work. The next part of this video is where it all comes together. The strategies you can apply immediately to start shifting your mindset and living like a true high-value man. Because knowing this isn't enough. You have to apply it. So if you're serious about changing your life, keep watching. This next part will give you the exact blueprint you need. Actionable strategies to apply immediately. Knowing the truth is one thing. Living it is another. Most men will watch this video, nod their heads, feel motivated for a few minutes, and then go right back to their old habits. Back to chasing. Back to over-investing. Back to looking for women to validate them. But not you. If you've made it this far, you're different. You're the kind of man who takes action. And that's exactly what we're about to do right now. These are 3 strategies you can apply immediately to shift your mindset, reclaim your power, and start living in real abundance. Strategy 1. The 80-20 rule for relationships. 80% focus on your mission, 20% on your woman. If you take nothing else from this video, take this. A woman should never be your primary focus. Ever. Too many men get comfortable in a relationship and slowly shift their energy away from their mission. At first, it's subtle. A skipped workout here, a neglected project there. Before they know it, they've lost themselves in the relationship. And then they wonder why the attraction starts fading. Women don't leave men because they stop loving them. They leave because they stop admiring them. The moment she becomes the center of your world, you lose your edge. You lose the energy that made her attracted to you in the first place. Here's the rule. 80% of your time, energy, and focus goes into your purpose. Your business, your fitness, your growth. 20% goes into your relationship. Just enough to keep the connection strong without ever losing yourself in it. Most men flip this ratio. They make their woman 80% of their world and wonder why things fall apart. But a man who keeps his priorities straight, he stays in control. He stays respected. And most importantly, he stays a man she never wants to lose. 2. Strategy, the disengagement test. Stop overinvesting and see how she responds. Here's how you know if you're overinvesting. If you stop texting, calling, or initiating plans. Would she step up, or would the relationship collapse? A lot of guys don't want to answer this question, because deep down, they know the truth. They're the ones carrying the entire relationship. They're constantly giving, proving, and chasing, while she just sits back and receives. And here's what they don't realize. Women don't respect men who overinvest. If she knows that no matter how she acts, you'll always be there, always available, always proving yourself, she loses interest. That's why the disengagement test is so powerful. For 1 week. Stop initiating everything. Pull back and focus on yourself. Give her space to step up. See how she reacts. A high-value woman will notice the shift and start investing more. Calling, texting, making an effort. A low-value woman, she'll either do nothing or start complaining that you're not giving her enough attention. And that tells you everything you need to know. Because the truth is, a woman should never feel like she has you no matter what. She should feel like she has to earn you, every single day. If you've been doing all the work in your relationship, this test will be an instant reality check. And once you pass it, you'll never overinvest again. Strategy 3. High-value habits that kill neediness. If you're still struggling with neediness, it's because your life isn't full enough. Weak men make women their priority because they don't have anything bigger to focus on. But when you fill your life with high-value habits, you naturally stop seeking validation, because you're too busy becoming unstoppable. Here's how you do it. 1. Gym, discipline, and mental toughness. Nothing builds confidence faster than getting stronger. Not just physically, but mentally. When you push yourself in the gym, when you wake up early, when you hold yourself to a higher standard, you start respecting yourself. And when you respect yourself, you don't need external validation. A weak man skips workouts for a date. A strong man never sacrifices his discipline for a woman. Because when she sees you're willing to compromise your standards for her, she stops seeing you as a leader. Hold your frame. Stay disciplined. And never let a woman distract you from becoming the best version of yourself. 2. Expand your social circle without seeking validation. Another mistake men make? They become dependent on one woman for all their emotional needs. They stop seeing their friends. They cut off their network. And slowly, they become isolated. The solution: build a strong social circle outside of your relationship. Surround yourself with ambitious men who push you to level up. Make sure you're connected with people who challenge you, not just people who validate you. Because when you have a life full of purpose, discipline, and brotherhood, you don't rely on one woman for happiness. And that's exactly why she'll stay. Because a man with options, purpose, and discipline, that's a man who never loses his power. Will you apply this, or will you stay the same? Right now, you have two choices. You can ignore everything you just learned. Keep over-investing, keep chasing, keep making women the center of your world, and keep wondering why you feel powerless. Or you can make the shift today. Stop chasing. Start leading. Build a life so powerful that women naturally follow. Weak men hear the truth and do nothing. Strong men take action. So what kind of man are you? If this video hit you hard, subscribe to Man to Man Code. This isn't just another YouTube channel. It's a movement. A community of men who refuse to be weak. If you're ready to be part of that, subscribe now. Because this is just the beginning. The truth you can't escape. Right now, most men are lost. Trapped in cycles of distraction, weakness, and dependency. They chase things that don't matter, waste years proving themselves to people who don't care, and wonder why their lives never change. But here's the truth most won't admit. The world isn't going to wait for you to step up. No one is coming to save you. Every second you spend chasing, over-investing, and looking for validation is a second you'll never get back. Every day you stay the same is another day wasted in mediocrity. You can tell yourself you'll start tomorrow, but deep down, you already know what happens when you wait. Nothing. Because the men who win in life, they don't wait. They don't waste time debating whether they should take action. They move. And the ones who don't, they stay stuck, watching, consuming, always on the sidelines while stronger men take what they want. So what's it going to be? Are you going to be like the rest, distracted, needy, waiting for permission to live your life? Or are you going to be the exception? The man who stops chasing and starts leading? The man who commands respect instead of begging for attention? The man who walks away from weakness and builds something real? Because at the end of the day, it's simple. The strong take action, the weak make excuses. The last 25 minutes were your wake-up call. This is your defining moment. For the next 30 days, focus only on yourself. No chasing. No seeking validation. Just work on your body, your mind, your mission. See what happens. See how your energy shifts. See how people react differently to you. See how you start moving like a man with options, not a man who's waiting to be chosen. Most won't do it. They'll stay in their comfort zone, telling themselves they'll change someday. But you, prove you're different. If you're serious about leveling up, subscribe to Man Code. But don't do it because I told you to. Do it because you refuse to be like the rest. The weak ones won't take action. The strong ones will. So, which one are you?